All right. So there's 37 people on the call now. Pretty good. Pretty good for like kind of an impromptu thing. I'm about to share my screen. Let's see. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
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 All right. Do you guys want me to go through that PowerPoint again for the semaglutide, or do you kind of already know how semaglutide works? I want to keep the semaglutide under 20 or 30 minutes, but if you want me to, you can write in the chat, do it or not do it.
Yes, please.
Okay, let's take a vote. If not, because it's already recorded, so if you want to hear it again, we can talk about it. But if not, then I'll send you guys the recording. Let's see. Yes, please do it. For consent recording. Oh, too many people said yes. I'll ask Rebecca. What do you say, Rebecca?
Well, as a provider, I'm okay, just sending the recording, but, I don't know how many MPs are in here, RNs.
We're gonna leave it up to you. What do you think? You can say yes or no.
I think sending the recording would probably making sure everybody has the recording, reposting it would be fine.
Okay. All right. So let's do that then. It's pretty simple, guys. In a nutshell, semaglutide is a GLP-1 agonist originally designed for diabetes, type 2 diabetes. It was during clinical trials. I forgot the manufacturer of semaglutide. I think it's like Novartis, but they found out that a lot of the participants were losing weight, so they, figured out that that's one of the side effects. All right. Since then, Wegovy has come out. Since then, Eli Lilly has done, well, they all really do a lot of clinical trials, but they've done more research on semaglutide and tirzepatide. So it's a great weight loss tool. The way it acts is it acts on your gut and in your hypothalamus. It slows down your gastric emptying so that you feel fuller. And then it also works on your hypothalamus and your hunger centers so it kind of inhibits your hunger as well. So it's a twofold thing. Tirzepatide is a GLP-1 agonist plus a GIP. And so it has like double the effects. So a lot of people are losing more weight on tirzepatide or Mounjaro, but it's just a lot more expensive. But we still can prescribe semaglutide and Mounjaro. I'm from Replenish, and we'll kind of explain how it works if you're not an MP or a PA. Because technically, let's say you're a medical assistant or a medical esthetician or esthetician or LVN, RN, you technically cannot prescribe anything, but the way that it works is we're going to be doing the evaluation, and then you guys are still getting paid for your time that you're spending on lead nurturing and sales with your clients, and also injecting. Okay, semaglutide is a once a week injectable. Some people inject half of the dose twice a week, but there are a little bit more complications that I've noticed, but also a lot more weight loss. Okay, but anyway, so for semaglutide, last thing. So it's really important for weight loss because we did discuss that it was a diabetic drug, but the way that it acts is that it
meeting. So you're talking to people?
Mute yourself, guys. It releases.
You got up at midnight and 3 a.m. and ate M&Ms without asking.
Guys, can you please mute yourself.
The morning you left the ladder in front of the fridge.
So what it does is it helps you release insulin, but only when there is glucose present. So it's glucose dependent insulin release. This is significant because even if you don't have diabetes, you can still take the drug without fear of hypoglycemia. So that's really interesting and really important for semaglutide. We're not saying to just give people any dose. There's specific protocol, but unlike some of the other diabetes drugs or insulin, you can give it to somebody who is not diabetic and not causing to have hypoglycemia. Okay, so with semaglutide, Replenish, we do get semaglutide leads by ourselves, but for you guys, I would advertise or market on social media, word of mouth, that you are offering this, right? Everything in healthcare is about marketing, lead acquisition, nurturing, and your sales process, okay? That part is a little bit difficult for people who are not used to marketing, right? But the most basic thing you can do is have a social media or a Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok. I'm a little bit older, so I don't really do the TikToks and stuff, but I have a social media person that helps with Replenish. If you need social media help, that's something that you should reach out to us for. Also a website, right? You guys have your own businesses. Replenish has its website, and but I would suggest that the more eyes on you guys from different entities, SEO, advertising, the better your business will grow long term. Okay. And then the sales process, that's something that we also want to discuss, or we want to kind of get work on, because it's, even if I have really good injectors. Some injectors are not, it's not easy to sell somebody on something. So there is a process for sales, which this year will be doing a lot more of that. Okay. All right. So, but for semaglutide, let's go through the different processes. Okay. We have JNAP, obviously, which is where your notes are going to go, which is where you can make payments for semaglutide or for whatever service or product you're selling, right? We're making this really easy because once you have convinced someone to want to lose weight, which is not really hard to convince at all, it's really just a matter of sending them a link, right? We're going to be engaging in something called asynchronous telemedicine. I've been doing it for many years. There's two types of telemedicine. There's asynchronous and synchronous. Synchronous is obviously like if you FaceTime somebody or use DoxyMe or something like that, and we are just talking face to face. Asynchronous is very similar to Hims or Romans or Keeps. They first started off with erectile dysfunction or hair loss, or now they've gone to fungal infections, colds, URIs, and all types of stuff. All it is an adaptive form that uses conditional logic. If there is a contraindication to one of the medicines or services, it just pretty much stops you in your tracks and then notifies the physician or whomever, and the person will have to speak to the physician before they can move on to the next step. And we'll give you kind of an example of that form a little bit later on. So what are the contraindications? Why wouldn't somebody be able to get semaglutide? One, we know that it's for diabetes originally, but if they have a history of thyroid cancer, specifically medullary thyroid cancer, they shouldn't be on they shouldn't be able to get semaglutide. But also if they have a family history of MEN2 syndrome, which you can kind of look up for yourself, or I can share this page with you guys after the thing, and it can be a website, so you guys can kind of go to this to look up the notes as well. All right, hypothyroidism by itself is not a contraindication, but that's still one of those hard stops. If your clients have an issue with hypothyroidism specifically, We want to evaluate, you know, goiter history, cancer history, and is the hypothyroidism controlled? Okay. Lab work. This is something else that people were asking me, hey, do they need lab work? They should have lab work, of course, but if they don't, it's not going to stop somebody from getting semaglutide. It's not like, so the only issue or the major issue is if they do have insulin resistance, and we can kind of go over insulin resistance a little bit as well, they're going to not get the full benefits of the weight loss. It'll just be correcting their insulin resistance. And they may lose a little bit of weight in that process, but they may get stagnant pretty quickly if they are on a dose that is underdosing them. So that's the reason why some people do need to have labs because of that. And the labs that we get are CBC, CMP, vitamin D, TSH, free T4, testosterone, estrogen, FSH, LH, progesterone, PSA for men, B12, hemoglobin A1C. They're very similar to the labs for hormone replacement therapy. And the reason why we get it is because if somebody did need, or if they're not losing weight, there could be a hormone issue as well. So we're going to kind of test everything. Right. And that process is pretty simple. We use CPL. They have a pretty good client bill. So there's CPLs all over the place, all over Texas. So if they did need labs, they would have to go to a CPL and it'll go to our portal and we'll be able to see their labs within 4 to 5 days. Okay. So
Wait, real quick.
Sure.
So how do we order those labs? I mean, is it through JNAP?
It's not through JNAP. It's a manual requisition. And so we'll be giving you guys that as well.
All right.
In fact, I am probably going to put it in our GHL portal, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It's a CRM, but it really is a little bit more than that. It's like that's where I'm going to be putting all of these things so that you can just refer to it whenever you want to look at that. So our protocols will be there. Our meetings will be there. Things like that. Our websites will be there so that you can just have everything in the same place. Okay, let's see. So for approval, pretty simple. After they submit this form, or after you have, if it's a nurse practitioner, you can kind of make your own decisions on if you think they need semaglutide or not. If you don't understand, you can just discuss it directly with me or another medical director. We have a couple more that I'm going to introduce you guys to. And then we'll decide if they need or if they should get semaglutide. RNs, I would suggest that you discuss it with the person who recommended the medication. If they're just submitting the form, you can discuss that directly with me. Okay, so let's see. All right, here is actually one of the forms, and I guess we can go through it a little bit, or you guys can go through it on your own time, just for time's sake, because I still want to get through this semaglutide, and then I want to talk about upcoming things and then housekeeping things. All right. So it's a pretty simple form. Name. It takes about 7 minutes, so I'm not going to really go through it. But pretty much if you go through it, it's not, you can really just read off of it, and you don't even have to know anything about semaglutide, to be honest with you, to be able to do the appointment for your clients. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. So after you guys, after we finish this, I just want you guys to go through it, so and then ask me, if you have any questions about it. It's really simple. It takes about 7 to 10 minutes, depending on, So if you're doing this consult with somebody like on a Zoom or in person or whatever the case is, you literally can read it out loud. I tested it on medical assistants and also people who don't have a medical background in Texas City, and they're doing the consults pretty much without any issues. Okay, consultation is not the same thing as recommendation. Remember, if you are not an NP or PA, even Botox or dermal fillers or Dysport, you're not supposed to be recommending any medical services. You can refer to the protocols. You can say per our nurse practitioner. You can use that type of language. Okay, so the dosing, like I said, it was one time per week. Regular dosing, it's a subcutaneous injection. Regular dosing protocols are in milligrams, 0.25 milligrams for 4 weeks, then 0.5 milligrams for 4 weeks, then 1 milligram for 4 weeks, 1.5, 2, and then 2.4. Well, that's not the way I do it, and because I'm trying to mitigate the amount of issues with and complications with semaglutide. So all the stories that you hear when people end up in the emergency room is because some practitioners allow patients or clients to dictate what's going to happen to them, right? So somebody will ask me, hey, Dr. A, can I go up? And just like you, should evaluate why you want to go up. Oh, I'm not losing any weight. Okay, well, are you eating properly or sensibly? Are you exercising? And even though you don't have to do any crazy workouts with semaglutide, you can still out eat the semaglutide. You can out eat a damn gastric sleeve. So just make sure that people are still following a sensible regimen. Okay, so the protocol for dosing that we use is just 0.25 every time. And I have minimal side effects. And still people are losing weight, right? So, but sometimes we can move somebody up a little bit quicker. I still want to use your clinical inclination of whether to move somebody up or not. For instance, if someone has insulin resistance, I will, and nurse practitioners should decide, okay, well, maybe I should move them up a little bit faster. Maybe they are not going to be on 0.5 milligrams for 4 weeks. Maybe they'll be on it for 2 weeks, that type of thing. Okay. So then after that, I really want you to follow up within that first week. And then of course the third week. Why the third week? Because if they are having some success, and success looks like this, either they're losing weight or they are not feeling as hungry or they're eating less, right? So even if they're not losing weight that first week or second week, which most people actually are, but if they're not, are they feeling hungry still? And if they are feeling hungry still, then we need to investigate. Maybe we need to do labs. Maybe they do have insulin resistance, right? Okay. Does everybody know how to do a subcutaneous injection? I'm assuming because everybody here is like a nurse or I think. If not, you can just let me know. I can show you personally how to do it. It's really simple. Okay. All right. And then so also with the follow-up, we obviously want to make sure that they're progressing the way that we want them to. We want to make sure that there is proper food intake. We can discuss macros and basic metabolic rate and all types of stuff like that. And then, caloric deficits and things like that. We can discuss that a little bit later. But more importantly, insulin resistance is a reason why, in this case, a lot of people are losing a lot of weight on semaglutide. You may not understand how much insulin resistance you have, but it's pretty much it's a weird spectrum because when somebody has a hemoglobin A1C of 5.7, we say that they have prediabetes. But what happens at 5.6 or 5.5, right? What happens at 6? What happens at 6.3, 6.4? Like a lot of people are in that range and may not even understand it. But when I explain it to my patients, I tell them it's like a car engine. You need insulin to power your body. Insulin, of course, it has a few different key functions, but to me, the most important is to transport glucose into the cells because glucose is the actual fuel. It creates, or it's the beginning of the reactions that create ATP, right, which is energy. So a lot of people say that diabetes is a sugar disease, or but it's really an energy consumption disease because you're not able to efficiently make ATP. Okay, so in your body there are receptors for insulin on your cells, And then when you eat any type of macro, so proteins, fats, carbohydrates, even proteins can be converted to glucose if you're not consuming the proper amount, but especially carbohydrates, when you eat carbs, they are converted to glucose, right? Your body needs a way for you to get this glucose into your cells from the blood. And if it's not taken into the cells, it stays in your blood. When it stays in your blood, a lot of bad stuff happens, especially in your small vessels. That's why if there's a buildup of glucose into your small vessels, it damages your endothelium. That's why people have tingling of their hands and feet, stocking glove distribution. That's why eyes, kidneys, and other organs get affected, because those end organs, obviously you have blood vessels that go to them. Okay, so we just talked about insulin being the fuel. When that glucose in your blood is created, insulin is produced from the pancreas and attaches to the cells. Then it sends out a GLUT transporter to grab that glucose and then transport it back to the cells. We talked about how ATP is important, right? And if that reaction doesn't happen efficiently, your body is still going to try to do that over and over and over. So you're still going to eat every day, every week, month, years. And if you're not able to make that process efficiently of insulin attaching to your cells and then grabbing the glucose and putting it into the cells, creating ATP, that process goes on and on and on until it fails, until there's insulin resistance. So your body will either stop making receptors for insulin, so it'll downregulate the receptors, or it'll stop responding to it, which is a terrible, terrible thing. Ways to help that, of course, are to decrease the amount of carbohydrates you eat, increase your muscle mass, and of course, medication. But the best thing, of course, is food being your fuel and then having a more active lifestyle. Okay, so does everybody understands insulin resistance? If you don't, I'll keep this I'll keep this up there so that you can kind of read through it and understand it a little bit more. So that when you're talking to your clients, you understand that, hey, this is a big reason why a lot of people are losing weight, is because nobody understands insulin resistance the way that they should. So even a lot of doctors, we won't bother anybody until they have, a A1C of 6.5. So some people are at 6 and they don't start on any medication, or they're not serious about changing the way they eat or their lifestyle. And that is like, okay, once you're at 6, you're pretty much going to get diabetes if you don't change. So, but at 6, you can reverse it. Okay. All right. So, exercise is pretty self-explanatory, but cardio is pretty good, but the exercise that we're talking about is more resistance exercises. You want to kind of build muscle. It doesn't have to be bulky muscles. It could be more lean muscle. So you don't have to bench 350, but you want to still break down the muscle so that your body has a chance to repair it. It will siphon the glucose in your muscles to repair it. So it's almost like a cheat code. That's why a lot of people who work out a lot, they're not going to get diabetes. Typically, you still do have athletes and things like that who are on diabetes, but a lot of people who work out, it's very hard for them to get diabetes. Okay. And then so during the pandemic, we discovered that, okay, if you can't go to the gym, there are apps that actually can help you with exercise. So the Nike app and Peloton app are 2 very good apps for resistance training. And so you can always recommend that to your clients as well, without having to do exercising with them. All right. And then so after that 3rd week, you want them, if they are making progress or if they want to continue, you want them to get started and reorder. So does anybody have any questions about semaglutide? And it may be more contextual once you watch the PowerPoint. But do you have any
So,
questions from what we've discussed?
so I have a question.
Sure.
For individuals who have had a kidney transplant or has been a kidney donor, is this something that would work for them?
I would have
Can
them
they
have to
take
talk to
this?
their transplant doctor for sure first. We don't want to, so any outliers, we don't want to make decisions that another, like a higher physician will be mad at us about, right? So just like if somebody just gets cancer, right? I'm not going to put them on testosterone. Even, I'll let their oncologist say, hey, you need to wait 2 years before you can get testosterone. In this case, if someone has a kidney transplant or a kidney donor, I'm going to allow their physician to give them the okay or not.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
This is Patricia. I have a question.
Sure.
If somebody has very high platelet counts, does it have anything to do with semaglutide?
That's not usually a side effect of semaglutide. Are they on testosterone? Or are they?
No.
Yeah, it's not. I haven't seen that side effect from semaglutide, but I won't
Okay.
rule it out. Do you have more
Okay.
context?
No, I mean, the platelet count was fine when he started the semaglutide, and 3 months down the line, his platelet count went up to like 600 plus. So I was wondering if I should stop giving him that, or, but anyway, I sent him back to his primary care physician to see what's going on.
How many times did you draw the blood? And was there any issues with the blood, like hemolysis or any type of clumping?
Oh, actually, it was done by the lab.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen that side effect from semaglutide.
So maybe we should have the lab repeated.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Any other questions?
So I have seen low platelet with Ozempic.
Low platelets?
Yeah, but very rare.
Okay. Like
Hey,
how low?
Dr. A. Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Oh, no, I was just curious, is this always injected at like the clinic or is this something that the patient can take a month's supply home and inject on their own?
Absolutely. They just need to know how to do it. So if they already have experience with it, then they can. Some people also send videos with them. I used to do that with Trimix. So if you can inject your penis, you can inject your stomach. I know that sounds funny, but
yeah. Well, so does the price change if somebody says, I can't inject myself, I need you to do it? Is this more expensive than if somebody says, I want to take it home and do it?
it depends. If somebody has to drive to their house, you as a provider can charge them a concierge fee.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So that part I'll leave up to you guys.
Okay. And which do you use a compounding pharmacy that you get like a bulk of semaglutide and then that's what we're using, or we have to order it and get it shipped to the patient, or how does that work?
We have both options.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which pharmacy do you work with?
Several. There's Stryker, Empower, Create. We have several different ones. Just because we were just working with Empower at first, but there was such a demand in Houston, they were taking so long, so we had to kind of
Yeah, and you can't get through on the phone with them to save your life.
Yeah, sometimes we have to actually go there, but
Yeah.
So, but there are a lot of different pharmacies. We've kind of tested out some of them, right? We pretty much like the semaglutide that is compounded with B12 or B6. Some of the pharmacies, like I think Hope Pharmacy, I don't think that they compounded with anything else. I think they're supposed to though, but yeah.
Yeah. And then there's one that compounds with L-carnitine as well.
Oh, who does that?
Let me see. I have it in my notes app. It's Sands RX Pharmacy.
Send me that in a WhatsApp message, please.
Okay, I will.
That's pretty good. What else, guys?
Oh, what if someone wants to use, instead of doing the compounding, they, look like they're diabetic, they're type 2, and they want to try to use their insurance.
Mm-hmm. We don't accept insurance.
I know we don't, but for their prescription. So instead of using the compound pharmacy,
Oh,
sending in
oh,
for Wegovy, how would we do that?
oh.
Because I can do, I have the thing, I can do the prior auth.
Yeah. So you would just charge them a consult fee. So whatever your consult fee is, you can do that. So
But how do I send in the script?
that's something that we have to talk about. Either we can call it in under me, or I can e-scribe it for you for now. JNAP does have e-scribing. We just
No, this is Rebecca. So I mean, I can prescribe it, but
I know, but so JNAP, we have to activate that on JNAP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question again. So as MPs, can we prescribe it for our patients, or we have to go through Replenish?
You can, but it's just that you would need to do a consult with them.
Okay, the MD has to do a consult with them?
No, as an MP, you can do the consult.
I can do the consult. Okay.
You would just charge them for the consult, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the pricing like?
That part is up to you. I usually charge $150 for the consults that I do, but you can charge. Some people charge $50, whatever you want to charge.
Okay.
I'll leave that, guys, up to you. So the thing about Replenish, guys, is that there is like a minimum, but we want you guys to make this your own. So I leave a lot of the pricing up to you guys. I just have minimum pricing. So that's another reason why I wanted to discuss after semaglutide. We want to discuss pricing because we just have a minimum price. There are some people, like I was looking at something that you guys shared. Injectors Room was charging $12 for a disc port. I was like, what? So, the pricing is really up to you guys. We just have a minimum price. So we're going to try to lower our minimum prices so you guys can make a little bit more money.
So what is the semaglutide and tirzepatide costing us from the compounding pharmacy?
It depends. And the prices
Because prices go up as the dosing increases, is what I understand. Right?
It does. That's the reason why we kind of try to do a blanketed price. And I'm not even only that, like Empower, just like Allergan sent that email to Anidra, they're gonna, Empower is increasing their prices by 15%. And just like, okay, well, wow. So we have a set price, but in this market, it's kind of tough to get clients like that. So I'm thinking about, well, okay, well, maybe more or less in this case would be more. So even for tox and dermal fillers, we're gonna kind of decrease our pricing. Also with semaglutide, if you can sell somebody at $500, go for it. If you can sell them at $350, go for it. But we're gonna try to make it a little bit more affordable, at least for the first time user, so that they can say, okay, at least let me try it. And then when they see that they're doing well, they understand that, hey, I've done phentermine, I've done Cassimi, I've done crazy eating patterns, intermittent fasting, I've done OMAD, I've done all these paleo, just done all these things, and maybe they just needed a little bit of semaglutide. And so I want them to really understand that it's a really good medication for weight loss.
Dr. A, I have a question.
Sure.
As a RN, you said that I cannot recommend a product to a patient, right?
Mm-hmm.
Client. So how do I introduce them to this semaglutide?
Yeah, you can still explain how semaglutide works to them. If you identify them as wanting to lose weight, and or just let them know that you offer the service, it pretty much will sell itself, right? Everybody wants to look a better version of themselves. So I told a few of my friends, and I have personally maybe like 40 people on semaglutide within like a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? So I didn't really try to sell it, but if you actually do try to sell it, then that's it'll kind of sell itself, especially if the pricing is within their, within their reach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did not pay attention on what are the side effects of this.
Oh, I didn't even go over the side effects, to be honest with you, but
Oh.
the side effects mainly there are a lot of side effects, but most of them are rare. The most common ones are like nausea, constipation, because of the way that it works, right? It does slow down gastric emptying. So I forgot to also say this. So if someone has bad diabetes, or not bad diabetes, but if they have long-standing diabetes and have like gastroparesis, then they probably should not be on semaglutide. So I forgot to tell you guys that as well. So what that means is it'll slow down their peristalsis, and so they may even have reflux or nausea, right, or constipation. Sometimes when the dose is too high, though, the opposite happens, and they could get bad diarrhea and bad abdominal pain. So I've actually seen people end up in the ER, not any of my patients, but in the ER, because somebody went up too high in their dose. That's another thing I just remembered. Thank you, Sam. So when you are dosing somebody, do not dose them by units. Let me repeat that. Do not dose them by units. Dose them by the milligrams. You can convert it to units, and the reason why I'm saying that is because you may have a different concentration of the semaglutide, because different compounding pharmacies have different concentrations. So convert it to the milligrams, and then you can convert it back to the units. So 5 units with 5 milligrams per ml is 0.25. It'll be 5 units of that concentration. But of a 1 milligram per ml concentration, it'll be 25 units on the syringe. So you have to make sure that you understand, because there are some practitioners, I won't name any names, but they are in Friendswood, that their patients came to me and was like, I'm on 25 units. I said, what are you talking about? And so they didn't know the concentration, so they were dosed at 25 units of 5 milligrams per ml, and ended up in the hospital. And I told them, hey, did you know the concentration? No. And so, yeah, trust me, just do not dose them based on the units. Dose them based on the milligrams.
I appreciated that. One other question. If suppose we are going on a right track and patient end up in constipation or diarrhea, so will they benefit with over-the-counter medicines?
Sure. I mean, Colace for constipation. The diarrhea, I would just kind of ease off on the semaglutide,
Okay.
Yeah, and try to bulk up your stool and things like that.
Okay. Thank you, boss.
Okay, so we're gonna try to do this, like I said, once a month, every other week. Just because I want you guys to also understand that aesthetics is great, but wellness to me is even better, right? So a huge thing in the wellness space are peptides. Semaglutide is actually a peptide as well. Peptides are amino acid chains that signal between cells and have a specific function. So Semorelin, BPC, we're going to be talking about those type of topics, testosterone, vitamin D, methylation, and we'll be talking about a lot more topics so that we can be more educated, and then also let your clients know that it's not just looking pretty on the outside, but let's feel good on the inside. All right, so we have a few more things to get to. What time is it? I don't want to keep you guys too long. All right, so the new pricing. So I did say Tanya's pricing, but it's not Tanya's pricing, of course. Is Tanya on this? Let's see. No, Tanya's not on this. Okay, so
I am. Yes, I am.
Oh,
I didn't know how to
Tanya,
unmute.
so I want the more experienced people to help me out with this. Anidra, where is where is Boss Nidra?
I'm here.
What's up?
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. All right. So do you guys think that this, and again, you guys, I honestly, I really don't like to advertise pricing because there's like in Houston, there's like a Dr. Keshwani. I don't know if he's still around, but in Sugarland, the prices are so jacked up. He charges Botox like $8 a unit. He charges, I don't know where he's getting his products, but I don't want you guys to be known as a Groupon clinic or a Groupon business. It will, the goal is to get clientele that understands that aesthetics is not cheap, right? We don't want to price gouge them, but if I'm telling you, it will bastardize your own process. So we can do whatever you guys want, but trust me, I've supervised several clinics that tried to do the Groupon and this and that. I don't even advertise on Groupon because of those experiences that they've had. Because you're gonna get people who are, do chargebacks and all types of bull crap. Trust me, the lower your prices are, the more bull crap you're gonna deal with later on. But these prices are pretty competitive, I guess, right? Anidra, what do you think about these prices?
Well, I think it's kind of low, and some of them are a bit low, but if you're catering to a new injector, a novice injector who's trying to build their clientele, then I would see why these prices would work. But like for instance, Juvederm Ultra, I believe it's around $680 for a box. But granted, that's 2 syringes. And so just looking at the profit margin, but to get people in the door and to help a new injector build their clientele, that might work. The Kiss, go ahead. I'm sorry, were you gonna say something?
Nah, it just makes me cringe that you just said that. But okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a bit. I mean, it's within the Houston market, but it's just more. It's on the lower end. It's on the lower range. I would think.
What do you think that should it be 600 or 620, 630, 40,
Oh,
50?
if you and maybe let me take myself out of it. Because you would use Juvederm Ultra XC, you would use that for lips most of the time. Maybe 650. I mean, if you're going to put in the 6, I would put 650. Kiss, how much is Kiss? Kiss is about 3. I don't remember how much it is. I think 650 is fine.
Okay.
Cheek filler, I think I charge $750 for cheek filler, so $700 is fine. Botox is too low,
I think so too.
especially for what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I usually charge 12, but in our market, we see 12 to 14.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see what our peers will be charging for it now that it's close to $700 a vial. Yeah, it's a huge ouch. Dysport, I do think that's on the low side for Dysport. If you're gonna raise it, I would say maybe $450. I charge $5 a unit. I only charge $4 if I'm doing like a sale or something. Sculpture, I think that's fine. $750 a vial.
All right. So Tanya, what do you mean by this? The last part for promotions, maybe say buy more than 2 syringes, get a percentage off the total. But this,
Like if they were gonna do, 2 cheek filler and a lip, like
Yeah.
maybe like, out of all that, add that all up at full cost and then take like, 10% or 15% off just because they're buying multiple syringes in one visit.
you also inject where else do you inject?
temples, chin.
No, I
I
mean,
do
like, what
sculpture.
the city
Oh,
you were injecting before.
oh, I was like, what? In Oregon, Southern Oregon.
Okay, what are the prices like over there?
So those are, so we would do, those are kind of similar to those prices. And I mean, that's West Coast. So even already that's higher, you know, it's higher over the West Coast, maybe not Oregon specifically, but you know, even cost of living is higher over there.
Is Tiffany
But
on the phone?
they're, I don't know.
Oh man, she was telling me the prices they charge over there in California, insane. But okay.
Oh yeah, California. Yeah, maybe. But like we would sell Juvederm for like $5.95.
Oh, no.
What
We
I'm
don't do
seeing
that in
over
Houston.
here,
Yeah.
yeah, what I'm seeing over here is they're advertising $3.99, $4.99 for Juvederm Ultra, and I'm like, oh my gosh, down in San Antonio. So I
Wait,
I
oh,
don't
okay.
know. Down, it's in San Antonio.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I worked at a med spa here. It was Beverly Hills for like a few months when I first moved here. And the stuff, they were just like, the prices was like, and they were Grouponing and all that crap. And I was like, I can't do this. This is outrageous. But there's so much of that, like that here, like $400 for a syringe. And I'm, you know, it's like, okay. And then it's 700. So people aren't even like looking, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, there's no way I'm going to pay 700. So
Can I just say, you know, I am not familiar with any of the med spas that are charging that low for filler, and maybe it's just the ones that I follow. I try to go onto their websites and just see what everybody is charging. But that's a shocker to me. I'm not seeing that at all. Those like low prices.
Oh, she's not. Yeah, she's. That's about right. Here in San Antonio's lips about 450.
Okay,
Yep.
in San Antonio. Okay,
No,
in
but you have,
Houston is
you have,
different.
you have
Okay, I
to
got you.
also, you also have to see what are they using for their lips. So they're using like Versa for their
Now, if
lips.
it's Versa,
Yeah.
which I still think is low,
Yeah.
but Dr. A, are you wanting Houston and San Antonio to have the same prices? Because I don't think,
Yeah, it's a different market. We have to, I guess we have to.
yeah, I
talk about
think
that.
you should consider that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll talk to the I'll have separate, well, I don't really want to have separate meetings, but I think that it should be a conversation. I just believe that if Austin is one price and then San Antonio is one price, people in Austin will be mad at people in San Antonio and then they'll be mad at me. But I do think that maybe that side of town may be a different price in Houston because I don't see these prices in Houston, you know.
So I'm actually on a laser and skincare clinic here in San Antonio, and Dysport $350 to $6 a unit. Botox, not there. This is on their site, averaging $950 to $12 a unit. Juvederm, average cost $515 to $740 per syringe. Restylane, $550 to $710 per syringe. Radius, $600 per syringe, and then they're doing Kybella, $375 to $450. So I think
so to me, the higher prices are probably what they want to start at, but then, you know, with promotions and things like that, they go down to the lower prices, which I'm okay with. But I just think that maybe in Austin and San Antonio that we need to come up with I actually agree with that, Anita. Maybe city specific pricing so that it can be a little bit easier for people in those areas.
yeah, I had said that in that thread, like we should be looking at our market, and not all the markets are the same.
Yeah.
So we should kind of tailor to the market that we're in.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Thank you guys for suggesting that. Okay, so we'll be working on that. Maybe I'll discuss with a few people in San Antonio and Austin, and we'll kind of have those. And then
would it be a good idea then to go ahead and have a meeting with each market separately to discuss pricing?
Yeah, but I just don't want. So the Google Drive, I'm not gonna be able to separate it by city without somebody saying, "Oh, that's not fair." And then, you know, some people are like, in like Lufkin, right? So then what is their pricing? You know what I mean? Like, and then some people are in College Station, what are their prices? So I do want to have maybe, Anitra, I need to talk about this with you, Tanya, Rebecca, I'll talk about this with you guys in a little bit, so we can kind of discuss that maybe before next week or sometime next week, so we can kind of come up with a good plan. I don't want to just make
Sounds good.
a decision right now.
Dr. A, in regards to, it's not being fair, I think as long as everyone realizes that the price of the treatment is really, it's driven by market. And so you can, you can have these really high prices. You're not going to get anybody in the door if it's not competitive
Yeah,
to what the other med spas are doing.
understood. Yeah. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Maybe after this, let's kind of set a date so I can stick to it, because I'll probably forget if I don't set a date.
Well,
But
and like you said, what you're basically saying though too, I guess what she's also saying, there's a minimum of what we can, we're gonna go. But if they feel like they can charge more, then and they're still gonna get clients. And I guess if someone in San Antonio wants to do $700 lips, and they're gonna have people pay that,
yeah, of
is
course.
that
Yeah, you can charge. We just have a minimum, but you could charge anything over the minimum for sure. It hasn't been in my experience that people have charged more than the minimum. They just charge what that is because they want to get people in the door. So, except for Anidra, she charges what she charges. So, if my minimum is $4 a unit, I always see her at most of the time at 5 for Dysport. So, and a few other people too. So, Callie. Oh man, for semaglutide, I told them that the minimum was like 300 or 350 or something like that. She always charges her clients 500. Kayla, same thing. So it just depends on, how good of us, how good the rapport is between you and your clients. So,
Since Anidra brought up the Botox and the increase, what about Xeomin?
yeah, I mean that's an option. I just, it's really good for concierge because, but we would definitely want to have a company-wide training on Xeomin before we use it. But yeah,
Definitely.
if you guys think that that's a Xeomin or Javo, whatever you guys want, I think that the only one I don't want to do right now is Daxify, just because of the cost. But for Xeomin, if you guys want to do that, let me know so we can have a company-wide training.
Yeah, I've used Xeomin in the past. I've used it on myself and my clients. I mean, it's comparable. I'm hearing good things about Juvo. I think the
Yeah.
ROI is
Yeah.
probably really good on that. So I
Yeah.
would actually like to try Juvo as well.
Okay.
Just having an option. I do have a client she just doesn't do well with Dysport at all, and doesn't have results. And so she's been using Botox, but now, and I know she's not going to want that cost to hit her pocket either. So, having an alternative
Will help.
would
Okay.
be.
So then what we'll do is then I'll set up a let me write that down. Set up a meeting with, I don't know how to spell Javo. I don't know how to spell Javo. I don't know how to spell that. Javo rep and Xeomin rep. Yeah, man.
I
All
think
right.
it's JEUVEAU. Javo.
Like that. Type. All right. So then the other thing is the store. The goal for this store is so that you guys it'll be a lot easier for fulfillment. When we were using the Jot form, it was just kind of all over the place. Now that I have a store, and we'll kind of, this was put together, but we'll make it a little bit more fancy looking so that it'll be at least pleasing to your eye. But now that we have the store, you guys can kind of order stuff for your clients, stuff for you to just have on hand. And the way it would work is, when you have a client and you book, you can get as much product as you want as long as you have clients. If you don't have clients, you pay for how much ever you want to have on hand. The reason why I have to do this is because, I'll give you an example. Somebody in Galveston, they booked a client for Dysport, and they used like 20 units of the Dysport. And then when it was about to expire, they pretty much say, "Oh, hey, Dr. A, can you find somebody to use this?" And like, well, how long have you been using it? Or how long, when does it expire? And I couldn't find anybody to kind of take it last minute, the day of. And so I pretty much just wasted like almost $600. So and that's not just the first time that it's happened, of course. If it just happened once or twice, that's fine. It happens very consistently. And with new injectors, which I understand because there's not a consistent flow, but there are a lot of things you can do to, get rid of your tox, like mentorships, like giving it to somebody for training, like whatever the case is. So doing flash sales. Hell, I would prefer you to inject somebody for free to get more clientele, to get more content, than to just let it sit there and waste. You know what I mean? So just better communication would have helped, but it's just too hard to do that. So I had to kind of make that decision. So the store is there. Take a look at the store when you guys get a chance. I'm going to share this whole page with you guys, and then let me know what needs to be put on there. So it'll have supplies, it'll have all your products on there. And so if you're purchasing product to just have on hand, the way it would work is instead of it'll work the same but the opposite on your invoices. So instead of Replenish getting reimbursed for the number of units times the cost, you guys would just get reimbursed that. So it's the exact same thing, but just in opposite. Okay, so and then so pretty much after this, you don't have to stay on the call, but we are going to talk about other ways to kind of, if you even have the capacity or time to handle a marketing system. But I do want you guys to be introduced to a very good marketing system. It's called Go High Level. And then I do want to know if you guys would like somebody to help you guys create websites. And then the new ideas that we have for Replenish are these, just in case anyone has to go. So let's say Rebecca has friends in New Braunfels or I don't know, Cibolo. And maybe at first she's like, I'm not sure if Replenish is the right fit for everybody. They might, because over here we don't have suites, so we have to do everything concierge and this and that, right? Perfect. But what I'm doing is now everybody that you refer, not only do you get a referral bonus, but you're going to make a small percentage of everything that they earn as a bonus, as a productivity bonus. Same thing with the mentors, because I really, really do appreciate the mentors, especially because you guys charge me fair pricing. I do want everybody from here on out that you mentor, that once Patrick gets that part finished, you guys will get a small percentage of what your mentors earn. So if you have 100 mentors or mentees, that's how it's gonna work. So I'm trying to do some things that'll make it a little bit more innovative and more palatable for you guys kind of spending a lot of your time with mentorships, right? And then the other thing is, let's say, because there's like I'm not sure if Lauren is on the call, but Lauren, she is very hungry, and I love that. She's in Dallas Rockwall. So she I think she just got a suite like immediately. I said, you know what? Hey, here's an aesthetic chair, because she's like really trying to rock and roll. I really, really actually appreciate and admire that. So what I'm trying to do is since we don't have a suite in Dallas, I do want everybody who uses that suite for her to be able to also get a productivity bonus for everybody who uses that suite. So we're trying to do a little bit more innovative things, in the different markets. So those things are in the works for this quarter. Patrick said that they're gonna, those things will be ready in a couple of weeks, but I don't want to I don't want to jinx the timing, so I'll just say this quarter. But so to everyone who is a mentor, to everyone who refers, I truly appreciate that. So I want to kind of give back that part to you guys. All right, and then the last thing is the directory. Everyone keeps saying, "Hey, who are the mentors in League City? Who are the mentors in Austin?" So I want to have a directory of the mentors, the active injectors, the people mentorships, names, emails. It doesn't have to be phone numbers. Social media. I might make the phone numbers hidden, just because I don't want everyone to just be contacting all of the mentors at one time. You should still use the WhatsApp for contacting the mentors. And then, yeah, so that, you can also have ideas of how their social media looks, ideas of how their websites look and things like that. Okay, so if maybe next time, do you guys still have time, or do you want to kind of wrap it up? It's about 8 o'clock right now.
I have time.
You have time? Okay,
I
so
have
I do want to
We've
go.
got, I got time.
I do want to go over Go High Level and why I think it would be important, even if you weren't with Replenish. Go High Level is it's a CRM that I think is really good, right? Everybody hates automation, but this is it's a monster. Hold on, let me show you. Let's see.
Really, I have a question really quick. What happened? We already had a CRM. Is that going away, or
Which one?
the one that Talib set up or whatever?
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
that nobody used it because there's not a need to use it, but I'm
Okay.
creating a need for it because we use it to actually recruit nurses, and so it's been pretty good. So I think that if you guys use it for your clients, it'd also be very good for you guys, or at least it'll be good for us to maybe even when we get leads to kind of send them to you guys, because when we get leads, we kind of don't really know what to do with the leads. Like today, we got like 5 or 6 people looking for Botox, and then so now I have to contact whoever is available, and so that's really not, I don't really like doing that. So I want to send the leads directly to you guys, and then you guys can also get leads for yourselves and be able to use it. So this is the back end, and there are everyone really has everyone will have an account. But let me just go into our nursing account so you can kind of see what we do. So you have kind of like a dashboard that shows you leads and opportunities, and conversations. This is probably the most important part, so that you don't have to have a separate phone line and things like that. You can make calls from Go High Level as long as you set up the Twilio, and then you can do text messaging and emails as long as you set up the Twilio in the mail part, which we can help you guys set up. All right, so for instance, we have an automation where we get nurses from wherever, right? So it might be Indeed, it might be Facebook, it might be Google, it might be word of mouth. We put them into our automation, they fill something out, and they get sent to a Zoom. And in you guys' case, what we're also gonna be doing is getting clients for like, let's say semaglutide, or let's say dermal fillers or Botox or whatever, and then sending them to different to people's different, whoever wants the leads to their CRM. People who tell us, hey, I want more leads, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, and then so you'll get people who are interested, and you just have to respond to them. If you don't want to respond to them, there is a way for us to do it. It's just it can't be free. It's just because I have to pay somebody to respond to them. All right, and the best part about this is you will have different opportunities, and Sabir will help you guys set this up, where you can see, okay, these are semaglutide leads, or these are dermal filler leads, or these are neurotoxin leads, and then you can see who's there. you can add a specific disposition, like if they're not interested or if they don't show up to something, or if they are interested or if cost is an issue or whatever the case is, so you can understand that, hey, I need to follow up with this person. Okay, move it over here. Okay, I need to, they're interested, but they want more info on financing. I need this. So this is a pretty good CRM. And then the best part about the CRM is that you can create little mini sites or landing pages, and we can also help with that as well. You can, if you have like Lauren, for instance, she has her own actual suite. She can set up her reputation management. She can set up, like Google My Business and things like that, and reviews. You can also paste links here. So if we wanted to visit our Jane app, EMR, we have a link down here. So we can just go right directly to our EMR. So we're going to be pasting all of the more important links in the GHL so that, you'll also be able to access the Google Drive or the or links like the Notion, so that you can kind of say, okay, I want to know more about semaglutide again, boom, or the PowerPoints or whatever the case is, or the store, so that you can kind of have everything in one place. So we're trying to roll out with that, so that it can be pervasive within Replenish, so that everybody can have access to the same tools that we use to even recruit you guys. So that's something that we're rolling out with. All right. So the new ideas, I think that's pretty significant. If you guys, think about what I'm saying, it's like now you are participating in not only a revenue share, but also like almost like an affiliate type of thing, but it's a productivity thing. So just think about that. And then if you guys want a website, we have a few website people, and then who have set up pretty good websites. And then the other thing is taxes are coming up, so we'll be sending out your 1099s. If you need help with taxes, I know a pretty good accountant. And then if you don't have a business already set up, we can help you form your business. I want to make sure that you guys are set up for success this year. And then this is the first of many of these calls, because I want to make sure that because I told you that I am invested in you guys. So I want to make sure that I put my money where my mouth is. And then the other thing is I want to, instead of just having these type of calls, I want to set up videographers. So like maybe if Anidra has, a free, night, I'll pay her to go over lips with you guys, or maybe go over complications, or I might pay Tanya to go over this or sculpture or whatever. I'll pay Tiffany. She's really, really good at under eye filler, tear trough. So, we have a lot of good providers within Replenish. So I want to make sure that everybody understands just how good they are. Right? Go to Anidra's page, look at her lips. So those are the things I want to kind of implement this year. Do you guys have questions?
Yes.
All right.
Doctor, I'm a new I'm new to this, and I need your help with pretty much most of the thing, and we have talked about the WhatsApp thing. So can we talk after this meeting?
Sure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yes, this is Patricia. Oh gosh. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello? Yeah,
Yes.
so I'm also new to this, but I did train with Ahmed before I came to you guys. So I have a small suite in Sugarland by the First Colony Mall. So in my group, we're talking about, I don't know if you were wanting to see if you can set up something for us out here. I wasn't sure what the conversation was.
Sugarland?
but yes, I have a suite in Sugarland. It's the Matteson Avenue Salon Suites. So
After
I have
this,
a suite I was using there.
send me a, what are you doing? Are you working tomorrow?
I'm working tonight and tomorrow night, and then I'm off.
Okay, so maybe I have something to do on Saturday. Tomorrow's my birthday, so I'm not gonna be doing anything, guys. But on
Happy birthday.
Saturday,
Oh, happy birthday.
yeah, I feel old.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, guys. So, but on Saturday, I typically don't do anything on Saturdays either, but I do want to see the suite because I have a couple of places in Sugarland that want us to use their suite. But with this new plan that I'm telling you about, if Sugarland is a somewhere that you know that you wouldn't mind sharing, then I would
Yes.
that might be something that you can still earn on. Everybody uses a suite. Same thing with people who have their own suites. You know, so okay. So
Okay. Okay. So you like to see it? Okay.
yeah, of course.
All right. Okay. Great. I'll send you a message.
Okay.
Thank you.
And if you guys know any other, and I think this is the way My Face Lady does it, but I'm not sure. But if you guys know of any other people who have suites, right? They can be estheticians. If it's a marketable place or if it's a place that has a lot of traffic, that is something that you can entice them with, right? As a vendor. So think about that as well.
Say that again.
So if like, let's say you have, I'm just gonna throw out the most ridiculous thing. Let's say that you know a bar owner who has a back room, but all of his like Chapman and Kirby, they used to try to get me to rent their rooms out for like $10,000 a night, and I was like, that's crazy. Let's say you have somewhere like Chapman and Kirby, and they have like a back room, and they can offer their patrons the Chapman and Kirby prices, right? Only prices, membership prices. You can entice those type of owners with a bonus or a contractor bonus to use their suite, and so Replenish will share revenue with them as well.
Okay.
So we're trying a little bit more innovative things because we want to be in places that have high traffic. That was the whole goal behind the suites. It's just that again, everyone is not a great salesman. And so nobody really wants to, kind of talk to people who you really don't know. But if people know
Well, no,
that,
I absolutely want to go over this with you more because I actually have a friend who is going to let me use her suite.
okay, yeah. So that's what we're talking about. So people will, if they know that they can benefit from it monetarily, they will, they will want to get as much traffic there as possible.
I have a barbershop.
So any ideas you guys have, send me a private message on WhatsApp. Though all of those things are good. It's just the only issue with the barbershop is that it will have to have a private room.
So
Or
yeah, I have a barber shop. We have 4 shops, but I have one shop that does have a area in the back, and it has a chair already because where we do waxing.
sure. I know that Kayla used to do pop-up shops, and I've seen people do, all types of, concierge things. So we want to make sure that, we can do those things often, and so we'll compensate. All right, so if you guys don't have any other questions, this is again going to be recorded. I know that there are some people who didn't have a chance to get on, but it'll be recorded for them. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, you can send me private messages on WhatsApp. I wanted to move everything off of Teams, so because WhatsApp has the community tab, and so the other thing that I didn't put on here is that for models, we're gonna try to do like a statewide, invite only type of model community, right? So that's, and it may be slow a little bit at first, but I think that once you have this community that this person invite, it's going to be like a wildfire. Like, you know, everyone in this community, they know that they're models, and anytime we want to reach out for people who may not be able to get models, they'll get model pricing. And not just for them, we might have a semaglutide community. We might have a women's only forum. We might have a men's only community. So I want to try a little bit different things than other organizations. So WhatsApp will allow us to do that because Go High Level and Facebook, Instagram, they're all made by Meta. So they kind of they integrate with Go High Level. All right, so I appreciate you guys for hopping on the call. Again, if you have any issues, some people already have my Signal. You can hit me up on Signal, but if you want, hit me up on WhatsApp. Let's discuss. I'll be up until.
Dr. A,
Go ahead.
my apologies for interrupting. Do you mind sharing, I guess, in one of our WhatsApp group, some folks who can help us with website?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys for attending. I'm going to stop sharing, and then have a great night, guys.
Thank you. Good
Shelby, it's your
night.
birthday Saturday,
Thank you.
Shelby?
Happy birthday.
Happy
Wait, Dr.
birthday
A.
to Shelby. Hey,
I have
Sarah.
a
Thank you.
Hold on. Sarah, you were on the call too?
Thank you.
Sarah. Is that Diaz? Whatever. I didn't know she was on the call. All right,
Hey,
guys.
Dr.
I'm here. Happy birthday.
Sarah, I didn't know you were on the call. You're our head trainer. I didn't know you were on the call.
Oh, no, this is different, Sarah.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Oh, that's
But
Sarah.
yeah, happy birthday.
That's the Sarah, the PA that is, yeah, we need to talk to.
No, that's Sarah in Austin, I think, right?
Oh, I can't see
Or
your
in,
last
I don't know who the other Sarah is.
I can't see your last name, guys. Good night, guys.
Okay,
Hey,
bye.
Okay.
Dr.
Oh, Sam.
Dr.
Go ahead.
Hey, I had sent in the WhatsApp. I wanted to get a time with you to have a one-on-one to discuss a few things.
Okay.
When would you have time next week? Obviously not tomorrow, it's your birthday, but like next week, I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but really any day in the evening works. Or even Sunday, but I don't know, it's your birthday weekend.
I don't really care about birthdays, to be honest with you. I can talk to you tomorrow morning if you want.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay, we'll talk tomorrow.
All right. All right, you want to call me when I'm going to be up early. You want to call me when you're ready?
Sure. I'll call you
right.
around, let's see, maybe 9 or 10.
All right, sounds good.
All right, cool.
Good night.
All right, guys. Peace out.